Well, hello everyone. It is your girl, LilFoxi, aka brand ambassador, founder, and creator of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. And I am here once more to speak about this this corona pandemic that we all have been hearing about. And as you can see, before I begin, I want to introduce you once again to the F Your Feelings hoodie. If you would like one of these hoodies, please hit me up on 7th Wonder. That's WONDAR 7th Wonder on Instagram. These are really popular and sold out, so we've had to get some more printed to bring it out there, put it on the forefront for you all. Basically, I'm out here, just enjoying the weather, enjoying the beauty of it all. And the reason that I decided to put on my F Your Feelings hoodie is because basically that's what the government just told all of us. F your feelings, okay? We're putting you on lockdown. You will be under martial law, okay? I've heard reports that they're bringing out. Shout out to the Anhk. And if you would like one of these right here, this is Hematite. If you can see that, this is made of hematite, and it's really good for grounding your energy. It's really good for transmuting that negativity, that negative energy that they're trying to bestow upon us, into positive energy, positive vibes. But sometimes it's like that, you have the vibe, F your feelings. And so that's what we're doing out here. We're just representing for our melanated queens. Brown girls are always beautiful. Shout out to IC Beauty. She hooked me up. So right before they went into lockdown, they said no more salons, no more getting your nails done. So, I had to get my emergency appointment booked, you all. She hooked me up. She did my color. So shout out to her, that melanated queen. She has gifted hands. So if you check her out, she's really good. And I love her energy. Things that are really important is making sure when anyone touches your crown, make sure that they have good energy. And she has really good energy. She's very down to earth. Love talking to her. We always have great conversation. And so just think about how this entire corona situation is affecting small business owners, such as those that have their own salons, such as those that have a number of professions. I know right now I've heard that schools have shut down for the rest of the year. Whenever in history has this happened, you all? So that told me, okay, so we don't F your feelings. We don't care about your kids' education. I'm just messing with you. So I just wanted to let you all know that I am also an English major. If you ever need some help or assistance with anything in the English field, or if you need an English tutor, I am here and I'm available. I had the pleasure, the wonderful opportunity of teaming up and working for and with Qweeba. If you are familiar with him, look him up on Instagram, QUEBUTTER. He's also on YouTube. Shout out to them. I love the positivity that they share, within the melanated community. We need more of that being taught by our own. We are always growing up in a world that usually pushes a different vision in front of us. So I really enjoyed that experience. Also, I wanted to say, heute ist Donnerstag. If anyone is familiar with me at all, you know that I used to live in Germany for 5 years. So throughout that time, as a child, I was able to acquire some instances of learning a little bit of the Deutsch, aka Auf Deutsch, or the German language. So heute ist Donnerstag, which means today is Thursday. So I think sometimes I would like to start my videos with a German phrase, just for anyone out there who would love to learn about a different culture. I think it's important that our melanated beings explore different cultures and also just talk about learning different languages, being bilingual, because that is something that I think we suffer from, is just not being open-minded enough, and also being just well cultured and traveled. Telling you, there's nothing like traveling. If you've never experienced a different country, well, I know right now we're under lockdown, but once this is up, everyone, if you don't have your passport, renew your passport, get out and travel. I know as melanated people, we acquire a lot of objects and a lot of things. We have experienced so much emotional and psychological trauma. So when we acquire things, it makes us feel better. But eternally, what really makes you feel better is just getting out and traveling the world. You can never take those experiences away. If you go out here and buy Jordans for $200 some, those Jordans might last you for a little while, but nothing will last like the experience of being well traveled. So just to touch on some of the things that have come to my attention during this coronavirus catastrophe, or scare, or pandemic, or whatever you may want to call it. I know it has affected many people with their job situations, and that is a cause of concern, but I really know, and I believe in my heart, and just my intuition is telling me that this was already a planned agenda. A couple of days, before it really hit, I was watching some videos on Bill Gates that had already predicted this, and if you just type in Bill Gates, it probably will come up. Basically, he gave a speech about how they could, in so many words, depopulate the world, okay? And I know those people out here that are woke have already heard about the coffins and the caskets and those things that they have out, and I think it's Atlanta, Georgia. So the whole objective here is to depopulate. Make no mistake about it, okay? A lot of people would be like, how could the government do this to us? How could people be so cruel? Oh my goodness. Do you not remember the syphilis experiment? Do you not know what our melanated beings went through during slavery? They have statues of a doctor that was experimenting on melanated women. He allegedly called himself a gynecologist. I can't remember his name. They have statues commemorating this person. He used no anesthesia. So just imagine how that had to feel for a female to undergo God knows what being experimented on. The things that our people go through are just unfathomable and unimaginable. So if they could do that to us, make no mistake, they will do anything. I wanted to talk about the fact that I happened to come across a video with Dr. Fauci, which, if you are familiar with him, Dr. Fauci is the short little scientist or looking doctor that is standing beside Donald Trump a lot of times when he does his press conferences in the evening. So Donald Trump has been addressing America almost daily since this alleged pandemic or this outbreak has taken place. Dr. Fauci also did a live stream with Steph Curry, and I just found that to be very interesting, considering that Steph Curry is a basketball, an NBA player. He had some questions, some very detailed questions to ask Dr. Fauci about this alleged pandemic outbreak. And what I got from the whole scenario is that they're really pushing people to get tested, and they're really pushing for vaccinations. So, you know me, or if you don't know, you'll find out. I always question what they're not telling you. I always look beyond what is being placed in front of my face. And one thing I hate more than anything is to have my intelligence insulted. And I think a lot of you out there can relate to that. Why would we need to get tested for something if we are not experiencing symptoms? That's just like telling me to go get tested for pneumonia or the flu or all these different things. If I'm not experiencing any symptoms, what is the point? Do you know how many people would have to inundate the clinics and get all these medical supplies and equipment just to get tested? So who's really behind this? Who's making money from these testing supplies and all of this equipment? If you're not familiar with, what is the name of this company? I looked it up just yesterday. There is it's a scientific technology company. I don't want to call it a pharmaceutical company, but I think it starts with a P, and if I can think of the name of it, I will let you all know. But if you do your research, go out there, look it up. Melinda Gates and Bill Gates are actually funding this particular company. And it looks like around November 2019 is when a lot of the funding took place. I find it very interesting that Bill Gates would step down from Microsoft right when this corona alleged pandemic hits, something that he had predicted about 3 to 4 years ago. So what is the real agenda behind all of this? It makes you wonder, and it makes you question a lot of things. I did put some notes here that I wanted to speak on. Another thing that I thought was very interesting is the fact that our civil liberties, whatever rights we think we have, whatever privileges, because you might as well call them privileges at this point, have been stripped away before our very eyes. Now I'm hearing that in certain places you have to be what's quote unquote essential personnel to be out on the road, and this goes into effect actually today, up until April the 16th is what they're saying. And I really believe that there's a ritual taking place that we may not be privy to, because per Donald Trump, your alleged president's own very words, he's pushing for Easter to have this all cleared up. He said Easter is a very special time of year and very special, but why? Because Easter can represent a number of different things. Yes, we all know that Easter is allegedly the time for Easter eggs, the time for Easter bunnies, the time for Easter baskets. Okay, once we get past the shenanigans, what does Easter really represent? Allegedly, they say it is the death of Jesus Christ. Okay, but I think it was someone that did point out in one of their videos, Young Pharaoh, that if you notice, and I used to always wonder about this, why does Easter change every year? Why is it one time that Easter was once March 31st, and then it was in April, and the date continues to change? If you commemorate something, I would think that that same commemoration would be on the same day every year, but yet Easter changes. So what Young Pharaoh had stated is that it has something to do with the moon phases, and that would make sense because the moon switches phases at different times of the year. So I would caution, or I would maybe push a little bit more into the research of that and say maybe we should examine some of these things, because rituals are taking place and they're laughing at us, you all. The things that I have seen about this alleged outbreak in this pandemic, it's not that it's a laughing matter, but it's the fact that they are really taking advantage of playing on people's feelings. And like I said, you're insulting people's intelligence out here. A lot of us are not going to just believe everything that's pushed into the forefront because it's on the news, it's in the media, because the president said it, because Steph Curry said it, because Idris Elba said it, because Tom Hanks and his wife said it. These people are nothing more than entertainers, okay? You can put a basketball in a hoop, that's great. But where are our melanated scientists? Where KT the Arch degree, shout out to him. Shout out to Dr. Sebi, people like that, thinking, logical beings that actually do the research. Where are our melanated chemists? Where are our melanated biologists? This is why science is so important. They can tell us anything. Sorry about the noise out here. They could put anything in our faces and tell us this is a virus, this is a virus. And because we are not well versed in certain subject matters, we will believe them. But when you start really using your brain and using your logical sense and things do not make sense, what does that tell you? That means that they are basically lying to you in so many words. And also be very careful that people will mix fiction with truth a lot of times to confuse you. And I think that's what's going on in this situation. I'm not saying that the coronavirus is not real, because if you do your research, you will find out that the coronavirus has existed probably over 10 years ago, about 14 years ago, at least 15 years ago. So these things are manufactured, as we know, in a laboratory, such as AIDS was. And in order to have these diseases, they have to come up with a vaccine, allegedly. But anything that is put here naturally, the Creator has already provided us a solution and a cure. Okay? And it's found in the earth. It's found in our herbs. It's found in the plants. They already know this. So they have to orchestrate something to attack our immune systems in such a fashion to make it seem as though we need to believe or obtain their vaccinations. I would caution everybody to find out the ingredients that are in these vaccinations. I wonder what is really in these vaccinations that they're not telling us about. Because why is it that the common theme and the common agenda and the goal being pushed to get vaccinated, to get tested? How reliable are these tests? These are the questions that I would pose and ask. Why is it that the president stated that he was tested and then come around and a few days later say that he's negative? What was the point in him testing for it? Had he been exposed to it? Why are they still shaking hands? Why are they still standing in close proximity of one another? Why are they not socially distancing themselves in press conferences, but they're standing side by side within breathing distance of one another? Why are they not wearing masks? Mask off. Fucking mask off. Sorry. F your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Why is it that they're not wearing sanitation gloves? And then I would like to point out, if this virus is as deadly as they're stating, why is it that we would only wear a paper thin mask? But why would we not wear hazmat suits? Because if you really pay attention, when anyone is exposed to anything that is dangerous, they wear hazmat suits. When 9/11 came, they wore hazmat suits to the ground zero, because that was basically a radioactive site. That's what they did not tell the American people. You had a lot of people out there that moved in that vicinity and ended up with cancer years later, because that radioactive site was not supposed to be inhabited. People were not supposed to be living there because of the fact that those chemicals were so toxic and so deadly that it basically caused people to become sick. So make no mistake, when the government is telling you something, you really need to research what is behind their agenda and always look behind what they're not telling you. So that is just, some insight into how I feel about this whole situation. I really feel like they're using this, like I stated before, as a way to strip us of our civil rights, our liberties, our privileges, and our freedom. Basically, I have seen out there where they have put into the news, it's online, basically telling people, if you see a multitude of people gathered and they're not practicing social distancing, you are urged to contact the police. So if you want to have a barbecue in your backyard, or if you have a wedding, or if you want to have, my friend said she couldn't even have her grandmother's funeral. Her grandmother just died Thursday of natural causes. Couldn't have a funeral. So you can't commemorate your ancestors because of a coronavirus. And then on top of that, you're saying for other citizens to further push this agenda by basically criminalizing anyone that is not practicing social distancing. And I can actually show you, it's in an article on the news website. This, like I said, is an insult to the American people who pay taxes out here. Because if you're paying your taxes and you're being under a dictatorship, which is what this is, then what the F your feelings? What are you paying taxes for? And then come to find out people have lost their jobs behind a manufactured virus. You know how many people I've spoken to? And I speak to people all across the place that are in the public who have been affected by this. There's no need. There is no need. They give you the problem and then give you the cure and the solution all in the same instance. We've been seeing this since World War II. Don't be fooled, and just be very, very careful with any agenda that they're pushing in front of you. I urge you all to go out and get protection. And what I mean by protection is practicing your amendment rights. You know what I'm talking about. Bulletproof vests, hazmat suits, because we don't know who might come knocking at the door. We don't know what the next line of strategy is, but I did hear that the National Guard has been called upon. So just be very careful out there, everybody. This is the time we need to remain in close proximity to one another. We need to protect one another, and our melanated kings need to protect their melanated queens, the princesses, and the little princes out there. Everybody, you stay strong, stay beautiful. Brown Girls Are Beautiful thanks you, and until next time, stay blessed.